So question 7 says solve the quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. Also, it talks about rounding the answers to the nearest hundredth. So we can actually do all this on the calculator then. We don't have to do any simplifying of radicals this time. Now, to use the quadratic formula, it's got to be set equal to 0. So it looks like the linear term and the constant have to come over to their side. So I first want to rewrite this thing as x squared minus 7x minus 9 is equal to 0. So we just kind of play the hop game. If a term jumps across the equal sign, it has to change sign. So again, a is the number in front of the x squared, so a is going to equal 1. The b is the number in front of the x, which is a negative 7. And the c is the constant, which is a negative 9. So it's using the formula x is going to equal then. And our formula says to take the opposite of b, that's going to be a positive 7, plus or minus the square root of. And then I have to square b, so negative 7 times negative 7, or negative 7 squared. If I'm going to put a negative 7 squared in the calculator, I do have to use parentheses. So notice that if you just put negative 7 squared into the calculator, it doesn't do it correctly. It actually only squares the 7 and takes the opposite of that to make it a negative. So a negative 7 squared, you actually have to put that in parentheses. So 49 minus then 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 9. And then that's going to be all over 2 times a, and 2 times 1 would be a 2. So it looks like my next step is to do what's inside the radical. So 49 minus 4 times 1 times negative 9. And that gives me then this 85. So x is going to equal then the 7 plus or minus the square root of 85 all over 2. So what you can do now is type in the top as 7 plus the square root of 85, get that answer, and then divide it by 2. And I have to round to the hundredths place, so that's this 0. That 9 would mean move it up to an 11, so x would equal then approximately 8.11. And then I can put this in a calculator again as 7 minus. So 7 minus the square root of 85. Get that answer, and then divide that by 2. And that's going to give me negative 1.11. So negative 1.11. Because again, this 0 would round up to a 1 because of that 9. So negative 1.11. So that would be our two answers using the quadratic formula, where we were allowed to just put everything to the calculator.